You're listening to TFP, the fan's perspective.
All right, we're going to come right back at you with some entertainment news for the moment.
That pop culture.
Somebody that I appreciate a lot is coming back out. Beverly Hills Cop.
Woo!
It's going to be the 4th installment. We're going to see Axel Foley back summer 2024.
Pow!
Eddie Murphy. You know, I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan.
You know it.
When I saw Beverly Hills Cop was coming back, I got excited.
Yeah. So the original cast.
I mentioned this to you last night, and it sparked a conversation. So we thought it'd be interesting to talk about it here. And I think the one thing that popped into your mind first was, can he pull this off, right? It was like,
yeah, just because, you know, bringing back these old properties, it's always a mixed bag. And also, like, coming to America was mid. It was okay. I didn't hate it, but, you know, it was just, it wasn't coming to America.
Had no cussing. Had no real cussing in it. That's what we wanted.
Johnny, you
Family
hear
friendly
Eddie
version.
Murphy's coming back with a new Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes.
What is your initial thoughts? What are you thinking about?
Yo, I was excited.
Yeah?
You know what I'm saying? Beverly Hills Cops was one of the funniest early 90s movies that I've seen. You know, at that time I was still learning a little bit of English, so putting a little bit of that Eddie Murphy swag in my English learning experience was definitely something that I liked about that movie, man. I mean, in the 90s, Eddie Murphy was just killing the game.
Man.
But what I like about the fact that it's coming back, you got a lot of the original cast in there as well. They look a little older, but I see a couple of them in there.
Yeah, they did that with Coming to America, too.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. So I was a little skeptical, but I did say to Los yesterday, like, what's the last Eddie Murphy movie that comes to mind that you really liked? And he named a good one that was kind of recent.
So here's the thing, right? It's easy to forget how much work Eddie Murphy has been doing. He's actually been a lot more active than you would think. So, in 2023, he has 2 movies out, and you know, one of them is a Disney Candy Cane Lane that just dropped, which is but you know, I'm not into the Disney type of stuff, but he did drop. He was in You People earlier this year, which I thought was pretty funny.
Right on.
And prior to that, you mentioned Coming to America, which was just okay, but before that was Dolomite.
Yeah, so Dolomite was a good one. I liked that one.
Yeah.
And then I had seen one more recently, but it's from 2016 called Mr. Church. And it's more of a drama style movie, but it's an awesome flick, and I thought he killed the role. I thought he did great. But in any case, we ended up going through the lineup and popping out some of Eddie Murphy's like top movies, and it was fun. To recall.
My best one, if it comes to mind, is Metro.
Metro.
Don't sleep on Metro, man.
I don't know, man.
You sleeping on Metro?
Metro's mid. No, you know which one I really like that doesn't always get the props it deserves is Meet Dave, where he's like a spaceship.
Right.
Meet Dave is awesome, and it's funny as hell.
It's funny as hell. He kills that performance.
You know what's really funny? You ever seen the one called Showtime with him and De Niro?
Oh, Showtime and Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Yo, that's just hilarious.
That's a good one.
Showtime with De Niro, and then
mid-2000s Eddie Murphy actually did have a lot of bangers, because also I Spy was really good.
I Spy was
Bowfinger
good.
is still
absolute classic.
What was the one he's in Outer Space?
Outer Space.
I forgot
Is this super old?
No, it's like it's like
Pluto Nash.
Pluto Nash.
That's right.
Yeah. Pluto Nash. Fuck with Pluto Nash too.
Yep. And then you got, like, a lot of people like Norbit. I think Norbit's okay. Holy Man is one that I really rock with that less people rock with.
You thought Norbit was okay?
Thought it was okay.
Really?
A lot of people love Norbit.
I'm one of them, bro.
Yeah,
like,
see?
I was fucking dying in that shit. The turkey ass?
Yeah, it's got some fire in it. It does. And Life.
Shit.
Oh, Life. Martin and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's one that's great. And then you go back to the 80s and you've got, like, The Golden Child.
Trading Places.
48 Hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Boomerang.
Sure. Oh, Boomerang. No, now, honestly, like, I was joking with Metro because I know that was going to be the reaction I wanted was just like what I wanted. But yeah, Boomerang is my favorite Eddie Murphy movie.
It's the one.
Hands down. I feel like that's what I want to accomplish in life. Like now, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of lifestyle.
Wait.
Single dude, great job, bad bitches all around.
I mean, and
Hammer Time Toes.
One
you
thing,
gotta go.
Oh yeah, Hammer Time Toes.
One thing we're not mentioning, and I said before, I'm not a Disney fan, but he's in every Shrek.
Oh
Yeah, I think the Shrek
donkey.
paychecks are why we haven't seen him in more adult fare for so long. Because you go from like 2008 to 2016, there's
Right.
nothing in that lane really. What Mr. Church, I think that's
Okay.
not like that. The Haunted Mansion, but
that
then
was
you
cool.
get more. When you get to 2019, you finally have Dolomite, and now he's doing some extra projects with Netflix, and that seems like the best projects he's had recently. So that gives me hope for Beverly Hills Cop, but I'm also not going to hold my breath or get my hopes too high because Netflix hit or miss.
Netflix,
Bringing back these old
properties
also hit or miss. So
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah, Netflix in general. Props to Netflix for taking risks, I think, with a lot of the stuff that they put out. But there's a lot of disappointment in those too.
Even with superstar actors in that shit. How was that Reptile?
Reptile?
There's a Reptile. It's like the detective joint.
I didn't know.
Chameleon
or something like that.
I thought I really couldn't get into it and turned it off. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
But
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
not really my pace of movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not. For
What's
my
the other
attention
one you
span.
wanted to talk about?
Oh, so the one that came out recently that like crazy star-studded cast. A lot of people have talked about it a little bit, and for me, I thought it was a really good movie, but I didn't like that it left the ending so ambiguous and so like almost randomly in there. Was Leave the World Behind. And I talked to both of you guys, watched it. I know some of the rest of my family watched it and talked to me about it, some of my friends. And I think the value of it was it ends in the middle of the damn movie, so everybody's got a theory about what was really going on, which was entertaining. But for me, I was very annoyed because it was a great movie. I was really into it. I thought the characters were compelling.
Word.
Some of the actors played a little against role. Like Julia Roberts is usually likable. She's basically a Karen in this movie.
Yeah, she was super different.
But they did a good job with everything, and then
The ending was just like
spoiler alert. The end, they see some serious chaos, but don't give you any type of explanation of why it happened, what's gonna happen next.
This is the thing, yo.
Besides,
I feel like Netflix really struggles with a conclusion. Like they'll start off hard hitting with the movie, and then when they trying to end it, it's like where they just run out of juice and shit. Like when they try to give that ending to you, it's just like you're like, damn, Netflix.
because of the binge watch model, all their episodes end in the middle of some action
you know
to
what
get
I'm
you
saying?
to start the next episode. They just they did the same shit here, man.
Because that could have gone either way. There's a lot of different ways that story could have turned. It could have turned to a horror. It could have turned to some other shit, some more in-depth conspiracy. But I don't know.
They tried to please everyone. I feel like they gave you like, so if you haven't watched it, fast forward past this segment.
Yeah, man.
But we're going to get into a little bit of spoilers, but they give you a bunch of different explanations. And essentially I read some of the the writer, the guy who wrote the book, I read some of his comments on it. And he said basically it's because that's what would really be going on. The people in these places would have their own theories for what's happening, but it's not like a clear explanation from any of them. You're not supposed to take any of them as being like absolutely right on what's happening.
Right. So, Johnny, you like the ending?
No, I did not. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I understood it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's elements of the movie that makes the ending make sense, but some of the things that were happening, from the airplane crashing, you know what I'm saying, to the disease, I was hoping something a little bit more spicy. You know what I'm saying?
Right? The animals, is what really
the animals giving you the alert. I thought it was going to be spicy at the end. To be honest,
here's my main problem with it. Right, even with what you were saying with the author. Right, so okay, that everybody's going to have their own opinion about it, but you painted the movie in 75 directions and didn't give any closure to really any of it.
No, right
we
on,
got
right
some
on.
space shit going on the moon.
Yeah.
We got some thing affecting the animals, and they're rolling all up on one specific girl, and then you got
She happens to be African American.
Now, the interview that I have of the director, he actually gets asked this question about that, like why end it like that without something. So they said, why was it important to not give the audience the closure at the end of seeing the families reunited in the bunker? By the way, this is from Variety, so if you look up Variety in the movie, you'll find this interview. But he said, this is his response, wouldn't that be so dissatisfying? It's a film that respects you as a viewer enough to not provide that. In that final scene between Julia and Myhala, they don't embrace. Even prior to that, when they're in that little shed and come to a detente, Ruth acknowledges that there's some truth to the things that Amanda has said, that they're in agreement about something, but it doesn't end with a hug. It's not that kind of story. I have no problem with like a big disaster movie that saves the 6 or 8 principals and reunites them in the aftermath of a disaster and allows you to be like, well, everything's going to be okay. I just don't think this is that kind of film. And I feel like that's a goddamn dodge, because he knows what they really want is, give us some direction for what's going on here. Why are there flamingos in the pool, sir?
What the fuck?
Why are there flamingos in the pool?
I just, listen, you, in an attempt to be, confusing? I mean...
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan and us?
Iranian pamphlets, apparently. The Kevin Bacon shows up with a shotgun to say it's Koreans.
It's not that. Look, it's not that everybody's got a different opinion. So what? And nobody cares about happy ending in the bunker with the family. What the fuck was going on with the moon?
Yeah.
Why
man.
were the animals acting that way? Was it something to do with radio waves, satellite issues? What was it a natural thing? Was it supernatural?
And when the power goes out, why does everybody just start bombing the city?
And
I don't
who was
get why.
attacking
Who's
the
dropping?
city
Who's jetting
anyway?
in?
Was it the Koreans after all? Was it aliens?
Yep. And there was that whole story about his rich friend who was just like, take care, and he didn't like the tone of his voice. So maybe that guy was really part of a cabal and flew away. They give you all these angles, and I think it's great because it gets the type of engagement that they want, which is us coming on here, talk about all the different theories, and even though we're annoyed at the ending, we're talking about it. And also, all the actors are great. Ethan Hawke, Mahershala Ali, Julia Roberts.
Yeah, and let me say this for people watching this. I actually enjoyed the film, and I thought the actors all killed it, but I thought it was intentionally confusing. And at the end, it was like, all right, they're not going to give me any of it. Okay.
It's one of those movies that, you have to, it's messed up because what the movie makes you do is pay attention real closely throughout. So you stay focused on it, hoping that you get that climax, that ending that you deserve. At least exactly that, like one element. The flamingos, the planes, what the fuck? Give me something, you know what I'm saying? Don't just leave me out there to figure shit out myself.
Man.
Too far out,
Well, so far out that anything can be the right answer, I could probably sell you on any theory off of that.
You already got
so
M. Night Shyamalan confusing us to death. You gonna add this shit to it as well.
Yeah, so let's move it. Let's move it along. I got one other story I want to talk about in the entertainment field. Many of you guys out there probably have seen these before. This is related to NPR's Tiny Desk Concerts, and the story I'm going to refer to here is out of Hip Hop DX, but this is regarding rapper Scarface. And I'm a big Scarface fan.
Legend
has been a legend in the hip hop world for years. Being old school, you're gonna know this stuff. But Scarface, he recorded the Tiny Desk Concert, and it's being released this coming Monday on the 18th. And so here's where the story picks up. Right, Scarface's upcoming NPRTiny Desk Concert has been called the best hip hop Tiny Desk Concert ever, ahead of its release on Monday, December 18th. On X, formerly known as Twitter, Tiny Desk producer DJ Cousin B got fans hyped by writing, "I just watched an edit of Scarface Tiny Desk. Yeah, it's the best hip-hop Tiny Desk we've ever put out. That's new crown holder."
That's a big statement.
That's a huge statement.
There have been some really good Tiny Desk performances.
Yeah, when I think about Tiny Desk,
amigos.
They do such a great job. It's such an intimate, live way to watch your favorite artists.
Word.
And I've seen
live bands.
I've seen artists do amazing on there. And I've seen some other artists do, but some of the standouts to me is Mac Miller's performance.
Miller's is one of the greatest.
Loved it.
Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane, loved it. Action Bronson.
I thought Action Bronson had a recent one where I thought he let the band shine so heavy on it and killing it, where I was like appreciating Alchemist even more after watching it because I knew some of the tracks from Alchemist production.
I think, what's his name? Anderson .Paak, is it?
Yeah, Anderson .Paak killed it.
He had one of the, like a 25, 30 minute just absolute concert that was amazing.
Yeah.
So anyway, hold
on. If I wanted to throw in there, forget about the gang. Migos did a dope.
Migos.
Super dope.
Can't forget about Migos.
All day.
MCs shine in that format.
If you
it's
think
a format where you can
rapping,
really control a room.
Boys are the truth.
So,
who was Wu-Tang had a really good, was it GZA?
GZA did one that was okay.
Really good. He did Liquid Swords, basically. Tracks.
Yeah, great. I thought RZA did a pretty good job. But to hear Scarface is supposedly having the best, it's amazing to me for a few reasons, right?
Okay.
We've been recently talking about this era of hip hop where the OGs are shining.
Right on.
And it's something about the live performances. I was mentioning this.
Yeah.
And when you think about Scarface, something that is like a real standout is his voice, man.
Right.
Scarface's voice is so unique. And I just imagine him, on that mic with that voice. So I'm so excited and anxious to see what's going to go down on Monday.
Word.
But it's another example of an OG having a shining moment. And I haven't seen it yet, but we'll see Monday.
Hope he kills it.
Considered the best hip hop performance on there. So
yeah, that's something
shout
to look forward
to Scarface, man.
From the streets.